Welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays. Check, check. I am your host, Jason Zlatkus. Welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Thank you for being here. Glad to see you. Let's fix the hair. That's what we do. Oh yeah, if you never see me doing this, right? I'm not making a show if I'm not fixing my hair. I wonder what I'm gonna do when I'm on like TV and they're gonna be like Jimmy Fallon's gonna be like, it's Jason Zlatkus, and I'm gonna be all, hold on, man. All right. Anyway, moving right along today. We got quite the thing. Let me get prepared. I'm gonna wear these today. I'm gonna wear these dog tags today, and I'm wearing these dog tags today for a very special reason. And the reason is that today is March. Such a special reason. But today is March 15th. Which, not March 15th, dang it, Jason. Today is March 17th. The reason I said March 15th is because my daughter's birthday was March 15th. She just turned 18. So shout out to my daughter, Casey Zlatkus, Casey Parker, if you want to find her online. And some of you don't find her online. How about that? She's 18, so how about some of you don't find her online? But anyway, shout out to my daughter. And shout out to producer Warren Madden, who has just joined the team. Not joined the team, but joined the show today. He's on the team. He's been on the team since day one. He started this thing. It's producer Warren Madden's show, and I'm here to do it for him and us. Anyway, Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus and producer Warren Madden, who is responsible for this. It's all his fault. And he's responsible for bringing us quality guests week after week. Man, we are coming off some of our best shows we've ever done. We're coming off that. We had Daniel Roebuck, we had James Troop, we had Jackie Dallas. Shout out to Jackie Dallas. The movie that we talked about, Ride Scare, is now streaming on Peacock. So hey man, you want to see former guest Jackie Dallas in Ride Scare? Check it out on Peacock. And shout out to Uncia Films and the team there. So quality job to them. It's always neat to see people that I think are regular working actors and getting success out of it. So that's fantastic, and that's what this show's about, regular working actors. So moving right along. The reason I'm wearing the dog tags today, March 17th, March 17th, it is not only St. Patrick's Day, but it is also my grandfather's birthday, and my grandfather's passed away, but in honor of my grandfather's birthday, and since we're doing a show today on my grandfather's birthday, I figured I'd shout him out and wear the dog tags. So shout out to my dead grandfather there. I should go like this. I think that's what you're supposed to do when you have somebody that you wanna who's dead. You're supposed to be like, you're supposed to like do that, like blow a kiss or something. And by the way, my kids thought I made that gesture up, and I didn't. And the truth is that gesture it's been around, and then my kids saw it on Independence Day 2. I just want to show Michael B. Jordan does that gesture to his dead father, Will Smith. So he goes like that to him. So shout out to my grandpa who died. But anyway, people die. Anyway, this is not a show about feeling down. This is a show about feeling live and taking a break on Thursdays. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Let's get right to it. Delicious coffee this morning. We got a little bit of blend today of a decaf and a caffeinated. Sometimes I come on way caffeinated, and then I hear, Jason, you were really like way too excited in the beginning of the show, and then you finally calm down. And I'm like, yeah, but the beginning of the show is when I gotta like really get the viewers going. So here we are. Anyway, my week. I gotta tell you, a couple weeks ago we talked about on the show. Do you ever turn down commercials? Do you ever turn down projects? Something I like to ask actors. Do you ever turn down a project? This week I actually turned one down. And I don't normally do that because, I like money, right? So I don't normally turn down a project. But this week, and I don't do it for the money, but I do like to eat. And anyway, I turned down a project, and it was for this inhaler. And it was this thing, and it was you spray it, and you're supposed to inhale it like through your nose, like this big deep breath. And then it's supposed to give you this great breathing or whatever. And I said to him, well, what is am I going to be using the actual product or am I going to be using like a fake? Because most of the time when I'm on a commercial set, I have a fake product. I don't have the actual product. I have a non-working prototype. Usually when I'm on set, that's what happens. So this time they gave me and just so you know, I've made like 30, I think I'm at 32 commercials now. But this one, they said, no, you're going to be using the real product. And I said, you know what, I'm not doing it. I don't know what's in that thing, man. And when I looked it up, it said proprietary blend. So for all I know, it's like meth or Sudafed, or I have no idea what's in that thing. Could be anything. Could be nothing. But either way, I said, forget it, man. I'm not doing your project because I don't know what's in that. And I said, I'm not going to inhale your thing. And I feel bad about that because I feel like, oh, man, what if they never call me again? Or what if I don't get the job? And that's what it's like to be an actor. But at some point, I had to be like, man, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to inhale your weird thing this week. Anyway, also this week I got coming up. So that was something I did turn down. So, and I did want the money. And that was a struggle to be like, dude, are you going to, what do you do? But ultimately, I decided being the guinea pig for some product, man, that I haven't heard of, is just not a good idea. Or even if I've heard of it, right? Like, if it's not something I want to do, I'm not doing it. But anyway, this weekend I got 2 movies coming up, which is pretty exciting. But I want to move along. I want to tell you a little bit. I just dropped my new demo reel. So if you want to see how I act, check it out. Go Google me. IMDb, will come up. And my video's on IMDb. That's where I put it first. So you could see it. I have it on other places, but only for like agencies and stuff. But when you can see it on IMDb, Google my name, Jason Zlatkus. That is Zlatkus. But you know that because you're watching Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Google me. You'll see my IMDb. You'll see my reel. Check it out. I hope you enjoy it. And if you think I'm a bad actor, I don't give a crap. Dude, that's on you. Anyway, and if you think I'm a good actor, let me know. That's rad. But anyway, let's get right to it. We got a wild show tonight. Handsome History coming right on. Now, this is a weird thing when you dedicate a show to your grandpa. This is a weird segue to move into Handsome History. However, I wanted to. Our guest today is an extra special individual. I read that Alan Rowe Kelly, and one of the things I was reading about was been referred to as wickedly talented with glamour and sass. And that, man, that's what more could you ask for as a guest on this show? Wickedly talented with glamour and sass? Like, I wish someone would say that about me, right? So before we bring in our guest, let's get to Handsome History. And I was thinking, we could do some St. Patrick's Day facts and stuff like that. But I decided, no, let's go for it. Let's do full-on glamour and sass on Handsome History this week. So we have slang terms that were used for sex in the 16th through 19th century. That's what we have this week on Handsome History. So one of the things that I thought because we use a lot of words and things to describe sex, and it's almost every single thing you could think of. But it's in the 16th and the 19th century they used terms, and some of them were shot twixt wind and water, horizontal refreshment. Now, horizontal refreshment I thought was sleeping, but back in the day they called it horizontal refreshment was something else. So could you imagine they were like, oh, I gotta get some horizontal refreshment? Like, I can't imagine what that conversation looked like. Also, I realized one of the things they would call was ride a dragon upon St. George. Now, I didn't know what that meant, but riding a dragon upon St. George was a term for sex through the 16th and 19th centuries. So for like 300 years, people said ride a dragon upon St. George. 1,000 years ago, St. George fought a dragon, allegedly. He fought a dragon, and that thing, when he fought the dragon, it became this innuendo for sex. So if you're going to ride a George upon St. Dragon. And fadoodling is also another one. Now, fadoodling is one I thought was really great because fadoodling is such a wild thing to say. Like, get fadoodled. Like, you could say that to people now. Like, dude, don't fadoodle yourself. Like, and I just thought about how could you imagine back in the 16th century if someone told you to get fadoodled? That would be like the worst thing in the world. But now if someone told you to do that, you just think they were telling you to use a new internet app. In fact, I'll bet you Fadoodle is an internet app. And if it's not, it should be. And if it isn't, it should be about finding a mate. And then it would be really cool. So get Fadoodled. Anyway, another one is play at couch quail, which I thought was pretty wild because you could play at couch quail. I'm not even really sure what that means, but you could have your play at couch quail. Another one of my favorites, and before we get to my absolute favorite, and end Handsome History and bring on our fantastic guest, Alan Rowe Kelly, this week, we have join giblets. You can join giblets with somebody, which makes sense, right? But that brings a whole new meaning when you're taking the giblets out of the turkey. You could join giblets with someone else. And the final one that I think is the funniest, and on this week's Handsome History, is have your corn ground. And that one is the best because have your corn ground? Dude, I gotta have, I see kids are going off. I hope you don't have your corn ground. Dude, get your corn ground. So that one I can't even like. I just want to use that at some point. Like, hey, man, listen, you better use protection if you're going to go ground corn. You feel me? You better wrap that thing if you're going to go ground corn. Don't be out there shucking corn and grinding that. Shucking corn is all right, but don't you be grinding it. Grinding corn, that's you getting your corn ground? Right on. All right. Anyway, let's bring in our guest this week, you guys. I've had a little too much fun this week. Part of why I shouted out my grandfather is that he's from New Jersey, and I spent a lot of time in New Jersey as a kid, and I'm very, very fond of New Jersey. And we have a guest today. We were managed to find a guest from New Jersey, if you can believe that. We actually have a guest from New Jersey. Let's bring on Rowe Kelly, or let's attempt to. That's really what we're saying on this show. Let's see if we can do. Yes, we had some issues with bringing our guest on, and we tried it, and then we had audio problems, and we have all kinds of problems on this show. Oh my God, it worked.
We actually made it happen that easily today.
Amazing. Welcome to the show, Coffee Break
Thank you
Thursdays
so
with
much,
Jason.
and thank you. Such a great intro. Glamour, sass, and antiquated sex terms. I'm all for it.
And wickedly talented. Please don't forget that you are also wickedly talented.
Thank you very much. As I vertically refresh myself right now.
Right, vertical. You know what? I thought I should have said that. Vertical refreshment. What a clever term. Right?
It's excellent. I'll have you know, I only did 2 cups of coffee today, so I saved my second one for you.
Excellent. What if there was a store called Vertical Refreshment? It was a coffee shop.
I'd be there in a second.
Right? There's another idea. TM, we own that now. We made that on the show.
That sounds good to me. Oh, this damn earbuds.
Oh, I know. I do it throughout the whole show. I'm
too much hair. It just gets in the way.
My parents bought me some different earbuds for the show because my dad was like, Jason, you look ridiculous with those things hanging down. And so so I tried to wear them, and I got to tell you, they kept cutting out, and then they would pick up the car radio, and, I couldn't.
Well, I showed you during testing yesterday, I bought those AirPods.
Right.
For like $200 some or whatever. And then my friend's like, what did you buy those for? You just need a $20 mic and headphone. And I went, took them back, and I just got this. It's so much easier.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you that. How many tools as an actor, and it's a little off cue, but it's a little off balance. Okay. So I just got a new demo reel, and I've had a demo reel, and I saw someone produce a commercial reel, but I don't have a commercial reel. Right. And I've done commercials. Obviously, I talked about doing commercials, but
you've been around modeling forever. I know your face. I've been a hair and makeup artist in the business a very long time. So
thank you.
I know you.
thank you. But my point is
I recognize that gorgeous mug.
Oh, thank you. Before I turn red, let me get out with the question here. So you bought the earbuds. Earbuds, whatever. How much as an actor do we buy that we don't need, or do we pay for that's unnecessary? Like, do you think that's a thing we do?
I don't know, because I'm also a film producer and a director, and I'm also an editor. So I have to have toys. I just have to have a little bit of everything. I have to kind of keep up on what everything's moving. Every time a new gig comes in, it's like, if I'm not current with the latest platform everyone's working on, so I'm screwed. So I have to really keep up with it and stay relevant as far as like in order to work.
Right. So so how much of it then is spending the time, especially as an older actor like me, right? Like some of this technology, like the kids
Shut up. Oh, stop. What do you consider old for yourself?
Well, okay, I'm not 20.
I know you're not going to tell. I'm on IMDb, so it doesn't matter. So
right, my age is on my IMDb. It's
mine too.
Okay, but my point is
listen. I'm 63, so I just hit 63, so it's sort of like years ago. My friends go, "You shouldn't have put that age up there on your page," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right, but too late now."
Right. So they told me like just a few weeks or a year ago, they went, you're not supposed to put your age out there, right? You're not supposed to tell them your actual age. And I went, oh, okay, I'll go take it off. And IMDb said, no, you won't.
No, you can't. You can't. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it or anything. I think I work hard at my age to do, to maintain a little bit, plus I have ring lights. So who can't, you can't get away without those. But I just found too, even when I'm going for makeup gigs, when I'm going for editing gigs, when I'm, I have to lie about my age. I have to shave about 10, 15 years off, because they'll just think there's ageism kicking in. They're just going to think you're too old. Or if I want a part and maybe I could pass for someone, say 45, 46, late 40s or something, I still have to lie for that. because if they find out what I look like when I'm on paper, they're like, oh no, too old, too old, never be able to pass it off.
Right.
So it's one of those things. We work so hard to stay young looking. We exercise, we gym, we skincare, and do whatever else you have to do. I haven't gone that route yet, but time is beckoning.
Right. So you're about 3 questions ahead of me now, which
I'm
is
sorry.
great, but...
I'm sorry. New Jersey, we ramble. You know how that is.
New Jersey.
Where are you from?
So can I go back a couple of steps
Please, I'm sorry.
We can work in New Jersey because I definitely want to talk about New Jersey because of some of the films you made there and other famous films that have been made there. But we'll get to New Jersey. But before we do,
certainly,
let me ask, because I also lie about my age, and I'm 48. And when people go, they go, "You're
baby."
Right. They go, still, but I'm feeling ageism, specifically in modeling. Oh my gosh, I've been doing that all morning.
But don't you think in today's age with modeling too, I mean, it's really advanced so much. Like, a gentleman in his late 40s, early 50s, still a kid.
Oh,
well, 50 does not look like what it did 30 years ago.
Let me be more specific then. Runway modeling.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of aged out of runway modeling.
But, Are you really?
But hold on. That's not the point. The backup. How much time and how hard is it because for me, the kids keep going, you got to have a TikTok, and you were talking about staying current on platforms. That's what I mean. I want to go way back here. So how hard or how current? Because for me, I'm going, man, you know what? I did Facebook, I did Instagram, I did Twitter. I'm kind of done doing like these things. But how relevant do you have to do that? Is it important?
I have no choice, basically, at this point, because I'm non-union still. So I don't have a rep. I don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I have to self-promote everything I do constantly, so I'm constantly shoving information down everyone's throat all the time, and I've learned certain tricks with social media. It's just sort of like, if I do a few blasts per platform per month, this way I'm not oversaturating myself and people are like, oh, up again, done. I don't want to see him anymore. I'm sick of his shit. I just don't want to see it. But I find if I do certain blasts and it's a timing thing, it seems to work. So
you have a marketing schedule, right? Like I do for Facebook posts. And
I do per film. I do when when I'm finishing up with certain films, I definitely have, different things that I'm doing, whether it's promoting a film that I'm produced and edited or promoting a film that I starred in or, that I'm going to be working on. It's always a different type of, medium that I'm working with as far as how I'm advertising it and getting it out there. Because I started in 1999 making movies. And so then the whole idea of the internet was just growing. MySpace was the new thing, and, you had your starring pages on that and you really start to grow a following in the indie horror area, especially out here on the East Coast. And then it just built to Facebook and then the Instagrams and then the Twitters, but they're just plain nasty over there. But you got to do it anyway. So I'm just, I'm not their beck and call. TikTok, I have not gotten to yet.
Okay, so you haven't.
I don't know what I can find for me to do that's entertaining for 30 seconds yet. I just haven't found that yet.
Right. So when I talk to my kids, I go, well, maybe I'll just put snippets of the show on, and they go, yeah, don't do that. And I go, well, maybe.
I understand. I feel like if I do a TikTok, there's like, send Granny home, okay? Just don't do that.
My kids go, you know how you go, hi, I'm Jason Zlatkus. They go, yeah, nobody introduces themselves. They just go, here's a dumb product. And I'm like, oh, I was like, I don't, it's a whole new format.
Well, you're branding yourself. You need to get out there and let people know who you are. I mean, I think that's important. But
right. So at what point am I like, dude, come on, I can't join another app. But at what point am I like, yo, that's free advertising. I need to do it.
But you know what? There'll be another one in a year. There will be. Something else will pop up and another thing will pop up. Look, I mean, even just with independent cinema, look at all the channels of it, the availabilities now to us. It's everywhere. It's and that was not there 4 years ago.
Right.
These opportunities. Now it's everywhere. And it's kind of exciting because we're finally getting that blast as independents to get our stuff up there, to get it, shown and viewed and get residuals and,
right.
get it out there.
What does that really mean to an independent filmmaker then? A chance, is it easier today to be an actor than you think it was then? Because of that?
I've never found it easy to be an actor, period.
Right,
to be honest with you. I never found that easy at all, just because when I started, when I started like with my first film back in, it came out in 2002. I mean, nobody knew what to do with me. They're like, who or what is that? Is that a guy? Is that a woman? Didn't she play on a soap opera back in the 80s? Or, they just didn't know what to do with me,
Right.
So became a real confusion, gender bending thing going on there. And I was like, well, I have no choice. I'm going with it, and I make horror movies. That's my favorite genre, and
Right.
fortunately, going into the horror industry first, I was accepted with open arms because it's totally open to everything and everybody that works in it. There's a few a-holes, sure, but I can handle that. That's, that's nothing.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. I really wanted to ask. So you answered? I think you answered the question. Is horror was your first movie that it was? I'll Bury You Tomorrow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Which was shot in New Jersey. And
Yes.
is about a gay couple that I believe is hunted. Tell us about that. What is the
Oh, no. That's another one. No, I'll Bury You Tomorrow takes place in a funeral home, and it's about a very disturbed young woman who happens to be a necrophiliac that finds a new home.
Okay, I'm
and then
mixing
of
up
course
Far
murder
Cry.
and mayhem ensue. So we shot, that was shot in Paterson, New Jersey, where I live, Boonton Township, Montclair, all throughout New Jersey areas. We shot that. All my films have been shot in New Jersey because it's locale central here. Plus, most areas are privately owned. So they'll just say, oh yeah, throw me $100 or something. You can have it for the week. If you can really, if you're a location freak like I am, you can really hunt down the right places and wear them down for a couple of days of free screenings. Now you go into New York City, it's going to be a completely different story.
Sure.
You're like shooting in Los Angeles, virtually impossible unless you've got tens and thousands of dollars for your location fees.
Right.
So I just find it works here for me. There's I can get to the shore. I can get to, the seashore. I can get to the mountains. I can go to urban cities, fancy cities, very high-end suburbs, low-end suburbs, and there's farmland and there's rocks and mountains and you name it. The topography is all over the place here. So for horror movies, it's great.
Right. So that takes me actually to a different question. Was it or actually a commentary?
I'm sorry, I keep throwing you all over the
that's
place.
That's okay. That's okay.
Kids can ramble.
Right. So the horror film, and I did mix up a Far Cry from Home. I did mix the two up with I'll Bury You Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. But before we get to Far Cry from Home, because I really do want to talk about that one.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You'll have to check it out.
I definitely want to, and I do go and watch or anything that that the guest tells me or anything like that. I do check it out.
I should have sent you links earlier this week. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that.
It's sometimes
I'm surprised you even know who I was. So I just had to go. Like, just do the show and shut up.
No, it's awesome, and we're glad you're here. We're glad to have you. But
Thank you.
A lot of people don't realize, and it's my selling pitch. But I tried to get my wife to move to New Jersey, but that New Jersey has all kinds. They have like the forests and developed areas, but also
Landscape's amazing.
It's
unreal. Plus, they have beautiful old ruins of everything all over the place. They have that beautiful. I just love seeing old buildings that have been dilapidated. To me, there's such an urban beauty about that they've been like left to seed for 30, 40, 50 years. No one touches them. It's like, that's the next place I need to shoot. That's
right.
Really cool. Yeah.
So you're talking about locations galore. And one of the most famous horror movies of all time shot there, Friday 13th.
Yes.
Is shot in New Jersey.
That's right. Up in Blairstown, which is not far from where I was born and raised, up in Morris County. So,
So did you turned to horror, and I was going to ask, and you answered the question, why horror movies? Because they are so accepting, and they are those things.
It's been my only love, though. I've loved horror movies since I first saw my first horror movie when I was 4 years old. I was hooked after that. Even my parents tried to sort of ban me from watching them for a couple years, and of course it was useless because we had a refinished basement. It was the 60s, and I could put on creature features or $1 Million Movie or Chiller Theater, anytime I want. Dark Shadows. I was banned from watching that for 2 weeks, and then my mom realized it's useless. Just go watch it. Just stop screaming every time something happens.
So what was the movie that inspired you then? What's the first movie you saw? What do you know it? Like
My
what's
first movie, believe it or not, was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Meet Frankenstein, right?
Yes, we watched that as a family. I mean, we're probably talking, what, 1962 or something like that. It was only maybe 3 years old, but it really stuck with me. It was horrifying and yet titillating at the same time, you know?
Right. It was
And
actually scary.
yes, very frightening. You know, the
Yeah.
whole werewolf transformation and the Frankenstein monster was really, Glenn Strange was really powerful and scary. So was Bela Lugosi. And, you know, I loved the movie. And then just having the two sidekicks going at it, I loved it, you know. But then I started watching like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And then I started seeing more horror movies and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And I was hooked.
That
Just
was your
hooked.
right.
Hooked.
So when you're making these movies and let's go to Far Cry from Home,
All right.
which you won Best Actor for that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
And
did. That was Far Cry from Home was a part of a trilogy called Gallery of Fear, which I believe is running on a lot of platforms right now. So it's the third chapter, and I started out with some other people to do an anthology. Anthony Sumner did the first one. I did the wraparound, and then I did the other two because some of the other filmmakers just dropped out. It happens, you know. But I always have to complete what I finish, so I had to do it. So I wanted to do this one film. I just wanted to do something about gay hate, you know, and I was unfortunately a little ahead of my time with it because I think we shot it in 2008. And I'd finished my second film, and this was on to our third. And it was just one of those busy years. And we did a pretty brutal, you know, film about a gay couple that's having difficulties and they're traveling away for the weekend. And of course, off the beaten path, wrong turn, antique store full of crazy religious zealots. You know, the boyfriend goes in, doesn't come back out. I'm stuck there. And then the owners basically kidnap me and throw me in a wood full of torture devices in the woods, you know. So it's very brutal. It's very brutal, yeah, and stuff. And but I wanted to get something really potent out there. This was shortly after the Matthew Shepard incident and some other horrible gay bashing type of things that were going on. And I was like, you know, I could definitely live through this. I've been through incidences that were pretty hard in my youth. Nothing compared to, you know, what I did in the film. It's really over the top, but it was an effective piece. Like horror people loved it, but the gay audience hated it at the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think now they would look at it differently. But at the time I'd send it to some gay and lesbian film festivals as a short first. And I would get answers back. You should be a more responsible filmmaker. How dare you send us this? It was, you know, except for the Long Island Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. They took it in and they gave us a great screening and, you know, gave us some really lovely accolades for it. But it was a horror movie. I mean, it was the same trope that we'd use, like the honeymoon couple, the college co-eds that break down on the side of the road, the campers that got caught, you know, because of a flat tire. It's the same trope, except we just exchanged a gay couple with it. And it changed everything with the whole feeling of the film, you know, and it was pretty brutal. And I mean, it was a hardcore. We shot that in 6 days straight in continuity. And needless to say, after we were finished shooting it, I didn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. I was beat. You know, because they beat the crap out of me.
You mean physically beat?
Oh, yeah. Well, that, yeah. And also just all of the stunts and everything that we had to perform throughout the film, because it was a very bloody film and probably the most goriest that I've ever done. You know, but I just wanted to put something really serious out there because my previous films had a very high camp element to them. So I kind of wanted to say, well, I can do something serious too. You know, let's not just do everything camp, but that's fun too.
Right. So, you know, speaking of the fact that the movie didn't necessarily hit well with the gay audience, what are some struggles?
Well, that was, but also, like, I just have to say that was then. You know,
it was then,
today,
of course.
Today, I think it would be very different. You know, today would be like it would be taken on very differently. It was just everyone's very sensitive at that time.
Of course.
You know, and I had not seen anything in that genre. That reflected, you know, to a gay couple as the protagonists. So I just wanted to go there with it and see how it work out. But the horror audience loved it. They thought it was brutal, and a lot of people wrote me after it too, and they said, "Oh, we've been through some pretty bad incidents. Not as bad as that, of course, but you know, I just wanted to bring a little bit of awareness to it, but I also wanted to just have a really intense piece to have on my resume as well too."
Right. So what are some unique struggles you think that you face as an actor, like, well, like that like I don't face, maybe like that I'm
Oh,
unaware
well,
of, like,
certainly, certainly we're both from the same gender, but I'm like on the other extreme end of the spectrum than you. You know what I mean? I'm the extreme female end of the spectrum of the male sex. It's kind of I'm way out there. I've always portrayed females in films. That's never been an issue, and but I think what I have, people just don't know what to do with me. They just don't know what to do with me. I mean, fortunately, I've been in almost over 40 films at this point. Can't complain about that. But
right.
at the same time, it's sort of like each time you're just trying to do something different, something different, something different. Because I love to act. I'm not an entertainer. I'm an actor. So that makes it. Or I usually tell people I'm the greatest actress you never heard of. That's basically who I am. I'm the greatest actress you've never heard of in your life.
And you call yourself actress?
I call myself both. I'm at that point. And it's very nice. I mean, it's very nice, but the whole big thing is, what is your pronouns? What do you identify? What do you whatever? And I piss everyone off because I say, "What's your pronoun?" I just say, "Your Highness," and that's what I expect them to call me. But they get very mad, and I'm just like, whatever you see, you can call me whatever. Just be nice. Just be nice. You call me he, you call me she, you can call me whatever you want. Just be nice about it. Don't be an a-hole, because I'll have to take it. I'll have to take you to task on that. But I found what it has done as a filmmaker, I think, just this in general has probably prevented me from getting bigger budgets for movies, because I think people look at you and they already prejudge. For some reason they'll think, oh, all glamour but no brains. And with a budget you need brains. You really know how to, work a movie with your money. You have to be your own line producer sometimes, and just know where all those funds are going and where they're being allocated to. And it doesn't happen that often, so trying to, maybe now that I'm getting more into it, I think, and now that the past 2 years have passed, I'm seeing a different wave coming through as far as like actors and, independents and people like ourselves. I'm seeing more opportunities for us for some reason. I'm just hitching myself onto it and grabbing it.
Right. It seems like here in LA, there's a lot of opportunity for unique people. What I would, people that don't fit the mold. Somebody that's on the other sides of the spectrum, as you said, like somebody more towards the feminine side, or even somebody now, who's like a mountain man. Like they go both.
Yeah, I'm going through, as I call, my hag period right now. So I think I'm in my hag exploitation period, where everything I'm getting booked for is someone's hillbilly grandmother, some old a witch, a crone, or
a witch.
Always witches. I think I played about 4 of them already. Werewolf mothers, or all these type of crazy characters. But I love that. I'm a character actor, and that's what I'll play. But nobody will see me look like this and go, "That's exactly who I need." Someone to play a lawyer that looks like you, or a judge that looks like you, or a doctor, or a lead. It's just kind of always supporting a lot of times, but I'll take it. If I need something that I need to star in, I'll write and produce it myself.
Now your look has changed, though. Like when you started, was your look more conservative? Was it more male looking?
No,
you've always.
I've always looked like this. I had darker hair. I had very dark hair. I had dark brown hair. No, I've always looked like this. I've looked like this since I was a late teen. So even going through, as I began, I was a fashion illustrator at first in New York, and then I became a makeup artist. And even then I was just so outrageous looking, because it was the late 70s. It was the 80s. I was painted all the time. I was glammed up, and people just didn't know what to do with me. And some people were quite offended by me. So I didn't get a lot of work, but I fought through it. I just fought very hard. I'm just like, you know what you're talking about. I'm talented. You will use me, or somebody will eventually. And I was in the fashion industry for almost 20 years. And I finally realized, and I was actually told that, it's like, you don't belong here. You're not chic. You're not cool. You're too weird. You're too weird. And they said also, the funny thing that got me with some agents too, and they said, "You're too nice for this business." They said, "You belong in film and television. Those are your people." They said, "Fashion people, they're not for you." And I still love that. I still love that end of it. I'm still subscribed to Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and all that business, because I love to see what's going on and what's new. But I just, that was the best advice I could have been given, TV and film. And that's where I switched over to.
I was gonna ask you what made you make the jump from the makeup industry and that to
Money.
actually to getting
money,
paid.
money, just to stay alive. And then I realized in television and film, I'm making more money. The
Right.
day rates were certainly a lot more than fashion. I mean, back then, if you got a cover on Vogue, they'd only give you $150. If you're
Yeah.
a makeup artist, and that because of the prestige of being part of that whole circle, that whole world, that you should do everything for free, and
It,
all the money you do get, you'd be spending on clothes so you look better on set. So you're fashion forward. I was not fashion forward.
yeah. You're
I kind of looked like Cyndi Lauper or Tina Turner. I kind of had a crazy look. I was like post-punk, everything. So it's a little out there. That's not how that's not how the models looked when I finished with them, but my own look itself was a little
right.
derogatory to that business.
Okay, but even as a model, right? I have to show up and I have to look a certain way, and I can't wear the same
Absolutely.
thing I wore last time, and and then I have to, and then they don't pay us,
Same
the
thing.
models,
Same thing. Yeah.
they don't pay us at all. Like,
I know.
and
I know. I know. I
they
know.
go, you're modeling for Vogue or you're modeling for this magazine, and you just have to take it, and I have to pay my own gas and buy my own clothes, and
Of
buy my own
course you do,
food.
and you should, and say thank you at the end.
And say
Just be
thank you.
grateful and send your booker a big gift at Christmas.
Right, right, and
You
then,
know
yeah.
that. You know that
So,
old story.
so, again, that goes back to how expensive it is, and we have to, like, being an actor is so expensive.
Oh yeah, and being a makeup artist is expensive too because products are very expensive. You have to keep your kit current, and every season you still got to drop, quite a few hundreds of dollars just to have those signature products that are big. You have to
Wow.
have that lipstick, that foundation, that new powder, that new toner. You have to have your kits like really prepared with, oh, did you buy the new thing that they just wrote up about in, wherever? And, that becomes quite expensive too. But in film, film and TV, I still follow that trend. I still keep, immaculate kits and everything's current and new. Sorry. But it's expensive. Yes, it's expensive, but thank God it's a write-off.
Oh, okay, right, right. Of course, you could. Yeah, because we're self-employed, we're contractors. But so,
Exactly, exactly.
I found that the modeling thing that I actually had to, as much as I like doing it, I had to step away in order to be considered an actor. Because because they go, well, even now they go, my email is Jason Z Model, and they go, well, are you a model or are you an actor? And I go, what difference does it make?
Because they have that bad attitude. It's like, already he's good looking, but can he speak?
Yeah,
They think if you're going to open your mouth, it's going to be like, all of a sudden, something just like went missing upstairs.
which is funny because that's how I think I sound. I think I open my mouth and I go, you guys copy Bricks
I
Thursday.
understand. I can't even stand the sound of my own voice half the time. I never listen to my podcasts or anything like that because I was like, who is that old crow? I've got this smoker's voice that I've had for years, and it's just sort of like, if I'm not careful, it just gets gravelier and gravelier and gravelier, and I just can't stand the sound of it. But it seems to get attention, so I stick with it.
Right, right. Well, it seems to fit the persona. I think your voice.
Thank you. Yeah,
Like
well, I smoked for nearly 40 years. I'd quit a long time ago, but I did pick up that sort of Tallulah Bankhead, Kathleen Turner kind of rasp to my voice all the time, and I don't know anyone else that really sounds like that anymore. So.
Right.
I'm kind of like, well, I need to start using this. So I'm starting to do a little bit of voiceover work and some narration and things like that because I just kind of like that. I'm trying to dip my toes into a little bit of everything this year.
Right.
Now that
It could be
the
a Kathleen
pandemic
Turner
is
voice.
pseudo over or whatever, it's time to just go out there and do some new things. Time is short.
Indeed. So
Yes.
a lot of you asked me where I was from in New Jersey, and actually it's Millburn.
I know Melbourne very well.
Millburn was where I spent
Right off
my
of Route 24. Excellent. Short Hills, Maplewood.
Short
all
Hills.
that.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh! Yeah,
I mean,
Short
that whole
Hills.
section there I've always considered like the Greenwich of New Jersey.
The nice
Starting
part?
huh?
The nice part?
Oh, just from Route 24 up, I always consider that like the Greenwich of New Jersey, like Greenwich in Connecticut type of thing. It's
Right.
very waspy, very high end, very, I'm sure it's
Well,
it's much different now, but it
well, we
always
were
had
all
that
Jews there. They were all, everybody
Oh,
there
that's
was,
funny.
it was all Jews. And we could walk to the temple, and I had family that lived on the street, and like it was all Jewish there. I didn't know people weren't Jewish outside of New Jersey. Like,
That's so funny too, because I was raised, I had 8 years of Catholic school. I didn't know what Jewish kids were until they sent me away to summer camp, and all of a sudden I got on the bus and here's all these really sassy young people getting on there. And it's like, I like who are these? And they're like, oh, they're Jews. I was like, I love them. I want to be like them.
No.
I like their hoods. They've got great chutzpah. They're real good wisecrackers. They're really wise with the mouth. I said, I want to be that.
I've never heard that before. That they're really wise with the mouth. I'd never heard that before.
Oh my God, I just couldn't get over how bold they were, and I just loved it. I mean, I'm talking from 5th grade.
Right.
Get a bus, and here's these like very bold young people getting up, and they're just talking and going, and I was like, wow, there's no fear. They have no fear.
You must have known different ones than me. I didn't know those.
I was full of fear back then. But I was raised up in the Rockaway area, so there's this whole area called White Meadow Lake, which was a very Jewish community. I think it used to be more like Summerine back in the day, and then come that that urban sprawl in the late 50s, early 60s, everyone moved out to that area. So fortunately, as soon as I started high school, and I was able to start expanding my mind with different people, different races, different everything outside of white world. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then finally by the time I hit, and as soon as I, well, it's true. It's very true. And then, I come from a very small mining town, and our family had been there for hundreds of years, back to like Native American tribes type of thing. So we just, it was time for me to get out of Dodge about 17, 18, get into New York City and, get away from the Budweiser and flannel, as I always put it.
Right. That was a totally different area than where we were from. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Completely different. Completely different. I was, the town I was from, this little small town called Wharton, New Jersey, next to Dover and Rockaway. Used to be kind of rural, but its own self-sufficient little mining town. And they're all little pockets of nothing but mining towns out throughout Northwest Jersey. It's just great for folklore and storytelling and
when I was a kid, though, we went to
all things creepy.
We went to Sesame Place a lot when I was a kid.
Sure.
Did you ever go there?
No, that's after me.
Oh, right. I'm
too old for that.
That's right. I forgot.
No.
Right.
By the time you were in Sesame Street, I was already behind Pathmark smoking joints. So,
Nice. I was
that type of thing.
I was down with Sesame Place big time.
Cool.
Let's go to New York, because I've been there a few times. Let's go to New York. You host the New York City Horror Festival.
I did for a long time. I haven't done it in about 4 years. I haven't done it in about 4 years just because they're just, it just couldn't work out with my scheduling and stuff like that. But I did host from 2000. I did host for a good 8 years there and all. And that's always been, and I may go back even this year too, but it's been a wonderful experience. I love those people.
What's the difference between, movies in New Jersey, and movies in the big city, New York? I mean, and I'm not saying New Jersey's not a big city, but I'm saying compared to New York, what's
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Concrete.
That's it.
About it. Concrete and a subway. That's about it. I don't find there's any difference at all. I think today you could be a filmmaker out in the middle of Iowa, or Kansas or whatever, and you can still be a popular known filmmaker, because as long as your stuff is good and you're able to get it out there and you get it into festivals and you can get distribution for it, then, you're part of it. You're part of it, no matter how low or high a level they say you are, whether you're indie or independent or studio bought or regardless, Hollywood.
Right. And who is they anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. We always use the proverbial they, as in everyone but us, because we're all paranoid and insecure. So we call everybody they. We call everybody they. But then they're probably even referring to us as they. So because here we are now, speaking about what we do, fortunately.
And that they have this conversation, right? And
yes, actually,
it's funny that you say we're insecure and stuff, because when people go, oh, you're an actor, well, don't do it to be famous. And I go, no, I don't do it to be famous. I do it because I want people to tell me how great I am.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I think actors, we're almost the original displaced personalities, basically from childhood on. We're all seeking attention in one way or another, and accolades and being told that you did a good job. You have your parents tell you they're proud of you. I think it's an important thing that's what we do. But I think also I've wanted to act ever since I saw my first Bette Davis movie when I was probably about 6 years old. And I was like, that's it. That's it.
That's the movie
that's who I want to be.
That's your magic moment. That's what I wanted to know. That's your magic moment?
One of them, and the Poseidon Adventure. Changed my life. Changed my life.
Amazing movie.
I saw that 16 times in one weekend. And so my grade school friend Tim McGuire was working the lobby at the theater, and he just would let me in all weekend. And that's in the day when you can get into a theater at the first morning screening, and you can stay till the midnight show. You don't have to pay. You just don't move. You just go get more popcorn and sit down. And I just watched that thing probably 16 times in just one weekend. Changed my life. Changed my life. I made a film that year, for the Kodak student film thing. So I had to reenact the ballroom in my basement and my garage going upside down, and bad ocean liner models in the aquarium, all that business.
Incredible.
Oh yeah. I had to do all that stuff. And of course, naturally, we didn't win anything, and stuff, which was heartbreaking to me.
Right.
I thought, I'm so great. How could they deny me my talent? I was 8th grade.
Right.
So I did get my very first taste of no and disappointment, at that point. And I just figured, all right, well, this is too much work. We'll just be an artist, which was originally set up. Let's just paint and be an artist and forget about that. But then I was hitting my 40s, and I realized I don't want to do just makeup anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And everyone's always saying, you need to be on the other side of the camera. You shouldn't be behind. You need to be on the other side. And I was like, too much work. That's what I really thought. I got a little complacent and lazy in the makeup world.
Sure.
You show up with your kit, you do a beautiful job, take your money, bye, have a great shoot. Sometimes you'd have to stay for the whole day. But then once I started getting into television and film, and I saw how much work really goes into it, what these crew people, the directors and lighters and gaffers and makeup people and wardrobe, the work they put into it. My friend kept saying, you need to make movies. I said, who wants to kill themselves doing all that? Then I came to 40, and I realized I haven't completed a single thing in my life, and I made a wish. I said, I want to make movies. By the end of the year, I made my first film. So it was kind of crazy. The tenacity just pushed me forward. And I just knew at 40, it's like, it's either this or that. This is where your life's going. You're really right here. Your life is going to go somewhere you don't want it to go, or you're going to make that dream come true, whatever that dream is. And I was like, throw myself to the dogs. That they'll bark, but they don't bite, and they don't. They bark a lot.
And you talk again. You got like 3 more questions ahead with amazing stuff, and I'm glad you're telling such wonderful stories. But back to those dudes. I look at the guys, the crew people, and the makeup artist leaves, and I have a panic attack. Because I start to go, well, what if I start? Who's going to fix me? Oh my God, what if I then, so I'm like, don't leave to the to the makeup person, and then
they're like, honey, they ain't paying me enough to stay in this joint today.
Click, all those, you hear the click click sounds of the makeup kits, the click, and I'm telling you, my heart goes, oh my God.
If I ever did that, I always left product though. That's the one thing I'd always do. If it was going to be a 12-hour shoot and I was only needed for 6, and it's like, listen, take this compact, I'll just go buy more.
Sometimes
it's like, just take the product. This is all you have to do. In between takes, you'll be fine.
Yeah, but when the product costs $40 or $70 or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. But, anything to keep your reputation good. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you want your reputation to follow you. So,
right.
You want people to know, oh, yeah, this is the person you want in your set. They're reliable. They care about what they do. They're, they're going to stay and take care of you.
And this show could be called like Midlife Crises with Jason Zlatkus, because a lot of us, everybody I've had on this show, they go, at 40 years old, I decided that was stupid, or not stupid, but just not what I wanted to do anymore.
That's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. I was actually on if I may do a little quick story, but
of course.
I was on a shoot, and they brought me in to do Dixie Carter's hair, and they had a famous older makeup artist coming into her makeup. Well, it took him 2.5 hours to just give her a natural, nothing look. And at the same time, he had a little poodle in his hand, And right. I was like, and he was talking with a fake accent. It was completely fake. I was like, oh my God, he's from Brooklyn and he's speaking French, but it was like, I get that shtick. And, but then it's sort of like, he was much older than me, and I saw my future ahead of me. Sewing up at shoots, living in a box, and having a little pet dog. I just saw that as my future. It was like,
right.
No. It was an epiphany for me. It's like, you really need to follow, a dream. And of course, what's more dependable than acting?
Right.
Films. Let's just go into an even more dependable end of the business. Acting and making movies. Who doesn't do that?
Yeah, I
But
always tell people.
I had to do it. I had to see if I could do it. And after the first film came out and I actually got parts in other movies and we actually won film festivals for it, I was like, all right, well, maybe there is a future here. But the funny thing is, after the first film, I sat there for 2 years doing nothing because I just was expecting the doors to the floodgates to open, and we've been waiting for you. 2 years later, it's still like, who are you? And what was that name of that movie? Type of thing. So, you really get your comeuppance real quick.
How many people do I see? And I was just thinking about this yesterday. There's so many people that just like on Facebook, especially, it's like, oh, get discovered, show your headshot. How many people think that's all it takes? Oh, look it, I see you, and I'm gonna go, where have you been? Oh my gosh, you know how they do that? Like, wow, like, did you think I thought that was gonna happen?
No, nobody does that with me, so I never had that experience. I'm the one who's shoving it down their throat. It's like, you really need me for this part. You need to change your mind about things. I'm the best thing for this part. You've got to hire me. And I am a little bit tenacious when it comes to that. So that's probably why I don't work so much.
A lady comes in. I'm at a job, and it's not necessarily a dead end job, but it's not a good job, okay? And it's it's retail, and I'm working as a manager. And a lady comes in and she says, "Do you want to be a model?" And I was like, so I actually became a model because I did get discovered that way. And so I expected,
with that jawline, those teeth, of course. Put them in front of the camera. You're beautiful.
Thank you, but I expected it to happen with acting, and it didn't. Like I got a few movies, and then I was like, well, that's all I have to do.
But you realize there's a lot more of us out here now than in the modeling world. That's it. You get into modeling, that's kind of a niche little thing right there between New York, Los Angeles, and Europe. That's kind of it. But, I mean, sure, you could belong to like a small modeling agency out of Chicago or Atlanta or whatever, but you need to be with one of the big boys in order to get known and seen.
Right, but and then but to be an actor, it was like it didn't happen that easy. Like to be an actor, like I thought, okay, my looks will get me on film, and that only goes so far.
Oh yeah.
And then
right. Yeah. The one thing that's good about doing this after, and I'm sure you'll see this too, after 20 some years, is you don't have to lie about it anymore. Everything on your resume is really yours. It's true. You don't have to do the embellishment about
the embellishments, right?
I call it embellishment. Of course, it's a downright lie. But I'm up for that part or something.
Well, I don't know if I do that, but let's talk about things because let's talk about some of the movies that before we run out of time, because we are kind of running out of time.
Are we really?
We've talked about so many amazing things.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's what the show's about, and it's really just a conversation about acting. So let's talk about you. Tell us some of the great things like Tales of Poe. Or Site 13. What do you want to promote?
Well, that's wonderful. Site 13 is that was our pandemic movie. My friend Nathan Baudry and his writing partner Tony Urban had made this film over a period of 16 years.
Wow.
Found footage, and then they took the found footage and we made it into one movie, and then they said, let's make another movie to wrap around the found footage, and then let's make a third movie to put all three of it together. So they brought me in, and I edited it, and I helped co-produce it and cut in more scenes and everything like that. And so that's out on the festival circuit. We won Best Horror Feature in London and in Montreal, at the Montreal Independent. We won Best Sound Design at the New York City Horror Film Festival, though I'll say I was not working for them at the time. So, and also as a host, I do not judge at the New York City Horror Film Festival. I'm one of those filmmakers. I don't believe I should be judging another person's film, not my contemporaries. I don't do that. I love to watch them and announce them and give them accolades, and interview them, but I'm not going to judge the film. I just don't do that. I think that's kind of dirty pool. Right. So that's doing its thing, and hopefully, by fall we'll pick up a distribution deal. But Tales of Poe, on the other hand, is kind of a happy ending. We had finished the film and we had screened it all over the place in 2016. We had our grand screening at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and we had a big opening for that, and we were in festivals, and we won, oh my God, 16, 17, 18 awards for it. It's a lovely film. We put a lot of time and a lot of work into it. But then, as an independent, we signed a deal with a really rotten distributor. And as you know, in the horror industry or any type of genre film, 99% of the distributors out there are crooks. So they shelved our film for 5 years. Nobody ever saw it. So to finally get it off contract, you let the 5 years slide. I probably should have done it sooner. We hooked up with Indie Rights right there in Los Angeles with Linda Nelson and Michael Madsen. And they took our film on, and within a month we are on 4 platforms. You know, we'll get, they gave us a really nice deal. They're transparent as all get out. I mean, every quarter you get a piece of paper, many pieces of paper, spreadsheets, every filmmaker, what they made, what platform they made it on, completely transparent,
Wow.
and their takeaway is nil. I mean, they really give you a really nice thing. So I find that they are the people to help save us right now, and get us out there. And so Tales of Poe is having a resurgence. So it's, to many people, a brand new film. To us, it's a film that like kind of broke our hearts for a long time, but we're able to get it back, and we're able to get it back out there as a fresh new film, new poster work and all that type of work. And it's, it's starting to pick up. So we're very
Where can it be seen? What are the, is there?
We're on Amazon Prime. We're on Tubi TV, Google Play, YouTube Movies, a couple other platforms will be coming up down the line, So we're available everywhere right now. And so is the other film, Far Cry From Home. That's on Tubi TV, Gallery of Fears there, so you can check that out too. Another movie I was in called Theater of Terror by Tom Ryan. That's one of my witch roles, but it's a really cool film. They're all anthologies, all 3 of these movies.
I was going to be the anthology queen.
I'm the anthology queen.
3 Slices of Life. You're in 3 Slices of Life.
Yes, that was Anthony Sumner. Yes, he started that trend way back then too. Right,
an anthology. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but you know what? For us independents, it was the easy and cheaper way to do it.
Right.
A feature was like really kind of impossible, but if you could get like maybe $30,000, $40,000 together, and you could just focus on one really good story, and then maybe get another one and another one. It may take 2 or 3 years to complete the film, but you'd have a fun anthology, and they seem to have been the trend at the time.
Right.
They were very, very popular because all of us were broke, and we all wanted content, and we all wanted to get things out there, and we wanted to work with all of our actor friends and new actors and new blood. So the anthology works very well for me. But next time I'm going to try to do a short this year. I don't think a feature's in the making yet as far as budgets or anything, but I still have like 5 scripts that are ready to go. But just have to start moving on it. I'm kind of post-pandemic still a little lazy right now. I've got a lot of things going, but it's hard to kind of get zhuzhed up about everything. And then everything going on overseas is sad. And, it's a tough time.
And I don't disagree with that. For me too, especially, I think, man, you should get going. And I'm like, well, maybe tomorrow, or,
Easier said than done. Easier said than done, because like, how it is, like you have such a high day one day and the next day you're flat, and it's like, why am I doing this? No, it's,
you're not.
And
kidding.
I think everyone in this business goes through the exact same thing. And it's just par for the course. We just have to, you just have to kind of get out of the bad end and just move forward and just be positive about it. And, beg, borrow, steal, do whatever it is you have to do to get your film out there. You can do it. I think anyone can do it. Anyone can make a movie today. Well, not anyone. Some people just shouldn't. Some people just need to stop. Some people just need to stop, but they're probably saying that about me as well too. So, that's the way it goes.
Right. Tell us, I'm glad you said that, because what you just said there was really great. Just get your film out there, do whatever you have to make it. I love that. Part of why I do this show is for that, to let.
I love that. And I love that. Thank you for this and the exposure. I love your show. I've been watching it all week.
Oh,
thank you. I love this guy. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you one of these days, too.
I love
Who
that.
knows?
Well, hey, I'll come to New Jersey. I love New Jersey.
I'll be on LA at the end of the summer, too. So,
okay.
Another coffee break.
Oh, there you go. Well, you could come down here and LA is an hour from LA. So, give me an hour heads up and I'll come and meet you.
Exactly. That would be terrific. That would be so cool.
So tell us what, you talked about a lot of those things. What is on your plate? What's coming up?
Coming up now, well, again, Site 13, just doing the circuit. I finished a couple of makeup gigs. It looks like I may be teeing 2 features this summer. So that will be very nice, But then I just had to finish some scripts. I really have to get going and start producing some content this year. New cameras, all of this business. It's just, I need to get out there. Just
right.
Not like sit on past everything. It's like I get bored with that very quickly. It's like it's over, it's done, it's part of the universe, it's out to the world. Nothing I can do about it. Don't ever read your reviews. That's like, for all those, anyone that gets on the platform, do not read your reviews, because people are out there just to sabotage you anyway. They'll see a movie and go, it sucks. And that's right. That's your review. One star. I only, and of course, We did a Poe movie, but we reimagined it, and we made it all from a feminine point of view as far as the characters go. And a lot of people the purists do not like that. You know, they do not like that. So, but too bad. You know, we loved it. We made it. It was a labor of love. Every film we do is a labor of love. You know, they're like children. You just have to get rid of them when it's time to go to college, you know, just because go make mommy some money. So, you know, and so hopefully this year, like another film or two and a couple more parts. I'm also starring in another movie called A Roadhouse Coup up in upstate New York. And I'm playing Eva Coup. She was the third woman sent to the electric chair for murder. You know, she kind of, you know, killed people. It's double indemnity clauses. She ran a brothel and, you know, running liquor, and it was in with all the heads of state and stuff like that, providing girls and all that business. But, you know, she killed somebody for their money and got caught, and she tried to bring everybody in with her, and they just decide now, you know, put her in the slammer and get rid of her before she starts talking. And they electrocuted her. So it's an interesting part. So we'll see how it comes out. Hopefully in the fall, we'll have a good movie out of it.
I saw the photos from that. You look amazing. The sets look amazing. There's a lot of people.
Thank you. I did that. I did my own costumes. I did my own wardrobe and everything too. You know, for that. I just wanted to put a lot of time in it. Well, you know, it's sort of like when I go into movies playing this, people do not have you know, wardrobe people, they don't have my size, you know, in clothes. They don't have my, you know, they're not going to look for a size 15 pump or anything like that for my huge feet, you know?
Right.
And especially up in upstate New York, those resources are not there. So I'm just like, give me a small budget. I'll put together the wardrobe for you and you'll be very happy with it, you know, and I'll bring extras for everybody else too.
Right. You know, I love even me, right? I'm 6'4". I love when they go, well, don't worry. We have a jacket or a robe. And I go, yeah, right. My arm is like, you're not going to fit me, dude.
Yeah, you know, so I just bring my own stuff and the wardrobe says, oh, that's so much better. We'll go with that, you know? So it's like, fine. It's just, you know, it's also just contributing to the film. You just want to be part of it. You want to make sure the production value is awesome. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. So fingers crossed on that one. You know how it is.
Right. You know, even after I shoot the movie, I'm like, oh my God, maybe they edited it bad, or maybe they used a scene I didn't love, or, you know, it's not until you see the finished product that you go, oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. That happens all the time. I mean, I've been in a lot of stinkers. A lot. You know, you look at my IMDb and they'll say, oh, look at all those movies. And I'm like, oh, please don't look at all those movies.
Right.
I'll give you maybe 7 to watch, please. But do not watch any of the others.
I wrote IMDb.
They're really bad. But I'm still proud at how bad they are. You know? Some of them are so bad they're good. And I see you're dipping your toes into the horror genre yourself too. I checked your IMDb. Don't you have a few genre films coming out? They sounded like by the titles they did.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I think I do, but they've been coming out for years. So
I understand.
Like, you know what I mean?
I understand. Well, that's like this one film I did with a gentleman named Michael Todd Schneider out in Pittsburgh. We did a film back in 2004, called Opening the Mind. And it just came out in 2019.
My gosh, right.
He finished it, but he made it a time period, like an over time film. And I don't know how he did it, but it worked. I mean, it's the most gruesome thing I've ever seen. I always wanted to be in one really bad video nasty film, you know, and this was it. And I was like, all right, been there, done that. I'm not going to do another one of those. But boy, I'm sure glad I did it. It was a lot of fun to see after all those years.
You know, I'm worried now that once the movie comes out now that I'm going to be like, oh my God, my acting from years ago. I don't want anybody to see that. I'm worried that
you know what? There's nothing you can do. You just have to have a sense of humor about it. You know, someone say, oh, I saw you in that movie. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But they said, no, you were pretty good in it. And I was like, well, that's from a long time ago, but we all have that. You know, it's all, you know, I don't call them skeletons in our closet. It's just the work that you had to learn through, you know, back in the day when there was so much independent work going on. You really had a lot of work coming in. So I would take anything that was offered to me. I wasn't going to be dumb. I was more experienced in front of a camera. I could hone my craft and see if I was a better actress through it, or, you know, I just needed that, you know? So I'm not embarrassed about even the bad ones. I'm actually quite proud of them. I wear them like a badge of honor. You know, what kind of screen queen would I be? You know, if I wasn't proud of all my movies in one way or another.
Right. See, I'm the other way around. I wrote IMDb and I said, you got to take that off. I can't have people know.
I know. No, I'm just like, nah, they'll just think I'm busy because they really aren't going to hunt them down and see them.
Okay,
you
you know what?
know.
That's true. That's true. A lot of
And
people
also
don't
too,
watch. Yeah.
a lot of them were made in the 2000s, you know, in the early 2000s. So everything then was still what it was still like mini digital cameras and stuff like that. You know, it's like
Mm,
it was not HD yet, but it was digital. But the thing is, it was like what 720 by 480 back then. A lot of people that made those movies, it's sort of like that whole 10-year scape is like the silent era scape. Like if you don't upgrade them,
right.
those films are just slowly deteriorating and falling, you know, just pixelating out and becoming blurs and disappearing, you know. So
Right.
you're going to have a generation of films right there from independence that are just going to go away, you know, unless they're kept up and, you know, refurbished every new like generation just to keep them, you know, just keep them around. That's what I've been doing with my older films is just to keep them here and not disappear into oblivion, you know.
Right.
It's just one of those things. Yeah.
You know, even yeah, I mean, I've started to lose things, started to just lose track of where it goes on, even on the computer, or it gets lost in cyberspace or whatever. I
Oh
just,
yeah,
you know,
you had to keep up on things. What my one film partner Bart Mastronardi that we worked on Tales of Poe together, we found his 2009 film on a new movie channel
oh my
that just
gosh,
opened up. We don't even know who has it or who took it or who's making money off of it. It's like, well, we got to check this out because I'm a bit of a pit bull with that.
right?
I'm a bit of a pit bull with that. Even for other filmmakers, I'll go to task and just, you know, destroy people or distributors and say, you need to take that shit down, or,
Quit
you know,
stealing our stuff,
or we're
right?
just going to make a real big mess out of it, you know, because I can be loud, you know,
What,
and social media can be very loud for that too, you
or
know.
potentially a
It's like,
horror movie where a Tubi executive gets eaten for
well,
stealing our
they've been
movie.
very good to us so far, so I
No,
won't say anything about that.
y-
But
no, Tubi is really good to us and really good
yes,
to a lot of my people. Shout out to Tubi, nothing bad on them.
absolutely, absolutely. And
You
there's a
know,
Shutter channel now, and all these other genre channels coming out, which is great. I mean, there's a little bit of everything for everyone right now. So hopefully it'll stay that way before the big corporations get into it and suck us dry like they do every time we make a breakthrough.
right? And you know, we've gone over. I love talking to you. It's been a pleasure.
Well, we could do it again sometime.
We can tell the people where they can find you when they want to put you in their horror movie, or maybe even not a horror movie.
Oh, just basically, I'm on, you know, Alan Rowe Kelly is my name. I'm at gmail.com. You can get a hold of me through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You know, I'm very easy. I'm very accessible. You know, I'm very, very accessible. So, you know, call me.
Any words to the people that might want to make the leap in their 40s to filmmaking?
Hey, listen, John Goodman did it. Mae West did it. A whole bunch of people didn't start till their 40s, and look at the careers they had. You know, of course, I didn't follow, and I didn't get that end of a career. But I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of. You just have to do it. If it's your passion, it's what you love. Just do it. You know, I would have done it sooner had I had the guts to do it. But you know, had I done it when I was younger, I was very irresponsible. I would have messed it up. So my timing, I think, was okay with what I had to do. It's the way it is. You can't change it. So I don't think there's any time you can start or finish. Just, you know, if you're ready to go and you got something to show for it, do it. Simple. Just don't be bashful. That's the hard part.
I can't get it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
100% because I was terrified to do it, and you're right. Just do it.
Just do
You
it.
know?
Yeah, yeah. I've got to the point that I see, you know, I mean, this is hard for me because I have to be myself. You know, now if that was a camera on me, I'd act my pants off. You know, I would. But since I have to be myself, I don't know who. Sometimes you just don't know who that is. You know, we get a little confused. You know, am I a producer, am I a makeup artist, am I an actor? Who am I today? Am I just Alan? Whatever.
Who am I today is often
Activist, whatever. Yeah. So
right.
who am I today?
Who am
So
I today?
I decided when I'm going through my wardrobe, who am I going to be today for Jason? It's like, well, look a little smashing, you know. Fix it
Very
up a little
good.
bit. Make it look like you care.
I love to hear it, Alan. Thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
You've been wonderful.
My
You
pleasure.
know,
Thank you, Jason. I hope to see you again.
you will. Thank you. And you know, everybody out there watching, Warren Madden, producer, shout out to him. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Warren.
Shout out to my daughter's 18th birthday and my grandfather's birthday today. To everybody.
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday to your grandfather. If I may say hello to my friend Cindy, my childhood friend who sent me my baby Jane mug for coffee today.
Love it. Cindy, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Folks, we'll see you next week. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Jason. Bye.